So what we're going to do here is give you a basic idea of how, over time tested and time proven, I would set up a billfish line. My dad started with this whole process years ago. We've tested it, we've fished it, thousands of fish on this type of rigging. It's not, that doesn't mean that that's exactly how that everybody's going to do it. I mean, everybody's got their opinions, and there's other ways that work, but here's what we're doing and why. So you've got a spectra fiber backing, and what I do is I overlap it back and forth. What I'm doing is showing you kind of how I would tie the knot so that I can take this and loop it into monofilament and it won't cut through it. So you've got to make sure that all your loops are identical in length. So I get to this with my finger, and then I'm going to do a double overhand with a loop about this big. So if I need to change fly lines, it's simple. I've got another fly line pre-rigged. Something breaks, so-and-so, I just loop to loop and drop it through. So that's your basic on your backing knot. At some point we'll do it. So it's going to end up looking like that. And on Spectra stuff, use a soft glue so it won't back itself out. But if you look, it displaces all the pressure onto the loop of mono. So I'm running from backing, and then I'm running mono, about 50 feet of it. And the reason I do that is it's smaller in diameter than the fly line typically, because we're worried about line drag, especially on a marlin. And after 50 feet, I end up attaching to my fly line. So I take a fly line with a 26-foot sink tip, leave the sink tip, take about another 30 feet, and I cut the rest of the fly line off and toss it. I still tie nail knots, and I've never lost one on a billfish or a big pelagic. But you got to make sure your knots are tied correctly. So it'll end up like this. On the back end, where I attach it to the mono, I use a soft glue again, just so I can make this a little bit smoother, and it goes through the guides fine. So we attach to our fly line, get up to the front.
We need to look, see.
Sink tips starting. And the reason we use sink tips is because of line drag. You want, smaller diameter, less line drag. So I get all the way up, got my sink tip, that type of thing. On the front end, and since it's billfish, they don't really care. If you were fishing tuna, if we were fishing tuna, I would probably do this in fluoro. But all we're doing is just putting a big loop in the end, again, of our leader, and then your fly, this is the new big marlin fly, you just loop it in. So you can change flies out in a matter of seconds. Big marlin fly, and I'll explain this rig real quick too. So this is what on all the marlin flies, our rig, what we call Phillips rig, and you could peg this if you want to make sure the fly stays right against it. Some people prefer that, other guys don't seem to care, but this is a bead system, and if you look, the back hook, just like we did for sailfish, we snell that hook. The front hook has a crimp, a bead runs against that, the hook falls down against that, and then you use a little tiny rubber band and put it around there. So if the fish does feed, or you hook the fish and you break him off, the fish will be able to break that rubber band and feed until the hooks are gone. So that's a conservation effort for marlin. So that's basic rigging 101 for setting up a billfish rod.